Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back, dudes. Hope you guys are having a good one, and today we're going to be taking a look at a pretty dope build for the Archon. Now this is pretty much going to be a 2.0 version of my old Archon build from like a while ago, but we got some new rings, we got some new skills, we got new expansions, so the build is it hits a lot harder than it used to. But the one downside is that this is a super high risk, high reward build. The chances of you sending yourself to the Shadow Realm using this setup here is it's likely it's gonna happen. So just the way it's set up is meant for us to be doing a whole bunch of damage, but we're gonna be opening the 8 gates of death from you know shout out to my homie Guy Sensei. We're gonna be opening up the gates. We're gonna be sacrificing our life force for more power, and fingers crossed that we have enemies to actually take out, because if we don't, then we go to the Shadow Realm. So that being said, looking at the actual archetype here, nothing too crazy. We're going to be using the Death Wish skill on the Ritualist. What this does, it negates all healing to ourselves, meaning we can't heal using a relic, using consumables. Teammates can't heal us, nothing like that. The only way we can heal is from doing damage and life stealing. So negates our healing to self and drains 300% of our health over 20 seconds. This right here will absolutely send you back to the warp stone thing. If you don't have any enemies to actually attack and you have the skill active, you're donezo. But this in combination with the Archon, and if you're doing certain boss fights, this really won't be an issue until the boss actually dies. And then if you got a whole bunch of seconds left, yeah, you're done. But at least the boss will be dead, so there's that. And as for the second half of the actual skill, increases all damage by 35% and grants 10% base lifesteal, base damage dealt as lifesteal. So like I said, this in combination with the HAVOC form, which is pretty much non-stop DPS, is a pretty nasty combo. Now the HAVOC form, I do believe that this skill needs a buff, man. It's pretty good, but I don't see why the HAVOC form does not also activate the overload or put overload on enemies. I think that would be an amazing buff for this actual skill. And the alternate fire, like the actual shield that you put up, that thing's pretty trash. Like it's strong, but it uses way too much energy, and it's kind of nobody ever uses it because it's kind of bad. But those are going to be the archetypes, the skills, the amplify. All these things don't really matter here. The perks, I mean, they don't really matter. But where the build gets kind of crazy, and you guys know I like skill builds, so you know where we're going with this. We're going to be using the Legacy Protocol neck piece, our amulet. Reduces all skill cooldowns by 20%, increases skill duration by 15%. This on a skill build, no brainer. And then we got the burden of the Silas.
Listen, come here. Shut your stupid ass up.
I've never seen that word before. I don't even know. Socialist? Not socialist. Silas. Bro, I have no idea.
You stupid.
It doesn't matter. Reduces all ammo reserves by 25%, but increases mod and skill damage by 15%. Goes really well with the HAVOC form. Pretty good. And then we got Burn of the Destroyer. Decreases outer range of all firearms by 25%. We're not going to be using firearms with this build. Even when we're fighting our way to the boss, we're going to be in our HAVOC form pretty much all the time. So as far as range goes, we don't really care about that. We want that increase all damage by 15%. Then we have the Burden of the Rebel, reduces skill cooldowns by 15%, but also reduces relic use speed by 25%. Now I don't actually have the glutton trait to kind of counteract this, but if you don't want to use this, you can also use the Burden of the Stargazer. It does the same thing, but this is going to make you lose health whenever you cast a skill. A little bit more risky, because if you pop a skill and you're not at full HP, and you pop Death Wish and you are close to dying before you can actually start fighting, you're gonna die. So Burn of the Rebel is really good. If you have Glutton, absolutely put that on your traits. And then for the final ring, we're going to be using the Ahane Crystal. Deals 5% additional damage per status effect on the target. Now with this build, we are going to want to apply those status effects before we pop into the Archon mode, just to hit that max damage. Now moving on to the Relic. This is really important. This is how we're going to overcome that 75% skill cooldown cap. The cap is just there for gear. There are other ways we can divert that. We can use the divert that. Other ways we can overcome that. We can use the diverting heart. This is pretty much just another 15% cooldown reduction. Whenever we use the heart, reduces skill cooldowns by 1 per second, lasts 15 seconds, so 15 seconds worth of cooldown. Another way to circumvent the cooldown cap is the Sapphire Dreamstone. even though 75% is the cap, if you're hitting crits, this is also going to go on top of that. So there are ways to circumvent the that cap. As far as the mods, we got elemental damage, skill damage, and skill cooldown. Now once we pop a xenoplasm, that's going to put us at negative 75%. And then once we pop the heart, that's going to put us at 90%. So there we go. We're going to be getting our Archon form back super fast. And the weapons here don't really matter except for the Krell Axe, and that's pretty much it. The Krell Axe, you want to have Tainted Blade on there, and on one of your weapons you do want to have Firestorm, or at least some other way to apply fire. That way we get the fire from the weapon, the shock and the corroded from the Krell Axe, and then of course we're going to have to use a pipe bomb. But you could also use Twisting Wounds. It doesn't matter how you apply the status effects, you just want to have them on your enemy before you pop your Death Wish into Archon mode. And as far as the traits go for this build, you're going to want to have expertise maxed out. You want swiftness maxed out, as well as footwork. Now I don't actually know if evade distance works with the teleport inside the Archon form, but I put it here anyways just because I like the evade distance you know, outside of Archon form. But I guess we can test it out here in a second. But you do want to have footwork and swiftness, so you can actually move quickly inside of Archon form. And of course, xenoplasm. And that is pretty much the build in a nutshell. Now how this exactly works here, pretty simple. As you can see, if we just pop the Archon here, we're doing 252 damage. Turn it off. But what we want to do here is yeah, look at the speed right there, man. It's so quick. Now what you want to do here, you go into a boss room, want to pipe bomb them, hit one of these bad boys, hit one of these, then we should be hitting, like, you can't see it there, but it's 433 per tick. There's a lot of numbers, but it's 433. It's really it's a lot going on. And the Death Wish is going to go out first, and then the Archon's going to go out. And the good thing about the Death Wish is that it recharges as soon as you activate it, but the Archon, you have to wait to finish the form before the recharge actually starts. So I'm not entirely sure what the timer is here. I guess I could put a timer on screen if I remember to actually put it there. But as you can see, we're back, and usually 2 activations of Archon mode equals a dead boss, unless you fight somebody like the Sunken Witch. I believe that's her name. She kind of runs away a lot. Fights like that where the boss, you know, runs away and does like a transition, you got to be a little bit careful. Sometimes you don't actually want to pop the Death Wish. Sometimes you just want to pop the just the normal Archon mode. That way you don't you don't send yourself to the Shadow Realm. But for the most part, you can pop them both at the same time and go to town. And usually after 2 activations, the boss is dead. Now usually this is where I would jump into some live commentary. I would just ramble on, you know, do a dungeon, do a couple boss fights, but I actually have to run. So I do have some pre-recorded footage of just some pretty cool boss fights, you know, showcasing the build. I think pretty much all of them I die at the end once the boss is dead. I think I can't remember entirely, but in future videos I will get back to like the normal, you know, commentary with the dungeon gameplay and stuff like that. So that's gonna be it for me today, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, all that shenanigans down below. And hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Hope you guys have a good one, and catch you guys next time, man. Peace. Take it easy.